Boise State used to be one of the best group of 5 teams in college football and actually was in the national spotlight a lot more. Today, we look to bring them back to that point. Now, one of the things we are going to do is bring a schedule like we used to see with Boise State. And our roster is actually looking top heavy. I think there's a lack of depth and there's definitely needs on both sides of the football. We get things started with a big lead over Texas A&M, 31-10. The Aggies do make a little bit of a comeback, but we are able to pull out a 34-31 win to get things started in season one. Ashton, Jeanty, a name to keep in mind for college football, is going to carry us here. But again, that depth we mentioned earlier is lacking. Our offensive line needs plenty of upgrades, as we see against TCU, and a 14-13 loss is definitely going to hurt. Everyone's greatest joy, we do get a kicker to sign with us. And again, we're going to have to create some depth as our recruiting needs to take off. The big challenge is going to be the national games that we play against ranked teams, but the Mountain West Conference should allow us to play some really exciting games as well, put up some good numbers. Malachi Nelson, the former USC transfer, is going to be an intriguing player for Boise State. You see the arm talent here as we are up 38-14 and add a touchdown to increase our lead. We're a little offense heavy with our recruiting right now, but we are getting plenty of players to commit to us. And even though we finished 10-2, we do not make the Mountain West Championship game. Our bowl game against Arizona also does not go our way. We lose some talent to graduation. We convince one of our wide receivers, Latrell Caples, to stay at school, and a good end to our recruiting cycle here as we get a number of recruits to come to Boise State. We finished 34th overall in recruiting, so that will have to take a step forward if we want to be a national championship contender, though we see some promising results in terms of our training results. Ashton, Jeanty is a 99 overall. Caples comes back as 92, and Malachi Nelson is the name to watch at quarterback. Once again, we're adding at least 2 ranked teams at the FBS level, the Power 5 level. So we get Utah and Arizona. And as you can see, the rest of the Mountain West schedule is pretty manageable. 2 of our first team all conference players are Malachi Nelson and Ashton Jeanty. And again, we need some upgrades on the offensive line, but we also need help on defense. So you might have to address those needs before you can go to the trenches. And as you can see, we're getting some instant recruits already. First game against Utah will be a battle. The Utes are very tough to beat. Malachi Nelson is dropping back, looking deep, something that needs to take off if Boise State is going to win. And if we have 18 seconds left in the fourth quarter, we managed to tie it up to send this game to overtime. First overtime sees us in the red zone here. Nelson finds Caples for a big-time touchdown, but our defense needs to get a stop here. And as Cam Rising is looking, he has a guy wide open to tie this game. The second overtime, Utah is held to just a field goal. We are able to keep this game within 3, and we just need a touchdown to win. Malachi Nelson is rolling out. He is looking for someone downfield. Can't find anything, so he's going to take off to pick up a big first down, get us within scoring range, and Ashton Jeanty does punch it in for a big-time win. Malachi Nelson with a huge game to get us to 1-0. One of our bigger prospects that we're targeting is Titus Howell at tackle. Again, we need an upgrade on the offensive line in a bad way. A rematch against the Arizona Wildcats in the regular season, the team we lost to in our bowl game. And late in the fourth quarter, Arizona does tie it at 20, gives us an opportunity to return a kick here. Again, tied at 20 with under 2 minutes left. Let's see what Ashton Jeanty can do. Again, Ashton Jeanty, one of the more explosive players in college football, and we are seeing why. He is going to take it to the 40, to the 30. Nobody is going to catch him. Ashton Jeanty all the way to the house, a huge touchdown to put us up by 7. Arizona on 4th and 25 is looking to pick up some yards, but they will not pick up enough, and that is a huge win. Ashton Jeanty in the return game was absolutely phenomenal. BYU is a tough opponent for us. We're only up by 7, but again, the run game is going to be a feature. We're also sticking with this pistol offense. Boise State in this game only runs out of the pistol and goal line, so it's very difficult to get into different looks. But Ashton Jeanty is phenomenal. He's an explosive player, and as you can see, that is enough to give us a 7-point win over BYU. Recruiting is still going well. We're getting a great addition in Dante Lewis at outside linebacker. Again, we need help on the defensive side of the ball, and we're getting some players to commit to us right away. Again, our recruiting board looks pretty good up until this point, and it's just a matter of getting certain players. As you can see, Titus Hall at the top is getting more traction towards us. And one thing we're seeing so far is that Mountain West play is allowing us to put up some extreme numbers. And that is also helping in our recruiting. Again, our defense gets a couple of nice commits here, and we're all the way up to the third best class in the country. Again, we talked about explosiveness with Ashton Jeanty, and in the Mountain West, here he's having a huge game, and it's a big result for us, a 31-17 win, a 56-7 win over New Mexico. But then we get to Nevada, the fourth quarter here, trying to pull away with a win over a good Nevada team. Ashton Jeanty once again is getting us into the end zone here. Another touchdown for our star player, and ultimately that is the difference. Ashton Jeanty gives us the win there. We do fall back a little bit in recruiting. We're down to 10th in the country, but we are still a top 10 recruiting class at 9-0. And from there, it's just more of the same against the Mountain West. We are putting up points at a blistering pace. And even though Wyoming does come back a little, we are able to create a turnover there, which ultimately gives us a 31-24 win. And right now, the Mountain West is not giving us much competition. And wow, this is a big week for us. 4 commits. Again, athletes there, as you see at those top 2 players, even though we're listed at quarterback, we'll have to find new positions for at least one of them. And as you can see, we're up to number 1 already here. We are 11-0, a big game against Air Force coming up, and Boise State ultimately takes care of business. We do make it to the Mountain West Championship game facing Hawaii, and we get things off to a good start with a rushing touchdown to put us up 7-0. Later in the game, in the fourth quarter, Hawaii is trying to make a comeback here. They are in the red zone, and they are going to get in the end zone to put them ahead in this game. 2-point conversion is going to be good as well. Nice throw there to put them up 34-31. Again, early in this video, we've seen that this Boise State team is resilient. They are able to handle a fourth quarter comeback. And right now, Malachi Nelson is wheeling and dealing, able to find guys downfield. And this nice throw puts us inside the 5. From there, Ashton Jeanty pounds it in for a touchdown to give us the lead. Hawaii has under 20 seconds left. They're trying to make a play, looking deep downfield, and our defense, our front 7, is getting to the quarterback, creating a bunch of tackles for loss, and ultimately on 4th and 14, Hawaii can't pick up a first down to give us the win. Ashton Jeanty was phenomenal once again, 186 yards and 2 touchdowns, and we pick up our first Mountain West championship of this video. We talked about Jeanty for a while now, a huge year, over 2,100 yards rushing, 27 total touchdowns, and it leads us to the national championship game as the number 1 seed against the number 2 Miami Hurricanes. We received the opening kickoff, and we're trying to take it around the edge, but Jeanty can't get around the corner, and from here, it's been an absolute bloodbath. One tackle for loss after another. Miami finds ways to get in the end zone on defense, fumbles galore, the offensive line cannot block, and Malachi Nelson is getting hit again and again and again. Again, Miami is scoring points defensively, and we are seeing an absolute bloodbath. 29-0 here at 34-0, and the game is simply out of hand. Miami gets the national championship win, a poor showing by Boise State. It's back to the drawing board, back to the recruiting trail. And to add insult to injury, one of our players that we recruited in the last cycle is deciding to transfer. The training results look really good. Again, you can see those numbers are much better in terms of depth. That still means, though, we need to get some more players in terms of depth, younger players, younger pieces that can add to that. Our numbers are looking pretty good, but once again, the defense and the offensive line need help. Our schedule is features a rematch against Miami. We do get Oregon and Memphis early on. Miami comes in as number 5 team in the country. We are ranked number 12. It's a neutral site game in Orlando against the Miami Hurricane. Early on, we are getting penetration into the backfield. We are creating some havoc. It's just that Miami has been able to pick up plays here and there. But again, our front 7 is doing a great job for the most part. And once Miami does get in space, we're seeing trouble. But for the most part, our front 7 is creating some havoc. And then ultimately, in tough situations, our secondary is coming up big. Right now, our plan of attack is get the ball to Ashton Jeanty and see what he can do. Missed tackles galore are helping us quite a bit. And as you can see, we are in the red zone. It's just a matter of getting the ball to playmakers and getting the ball closer to the end zone and letting Ashton Jeanty kind of do it from there. First and goal here, and Jeanty will pound it in to give us a 7-0 lead. Later in the first half, we're up 7-3, and Curry Brown throws a nice pass to Bobby Washington there. Fletcher is going to break a couple of tackles to put Miami up 10-7. On the ensuing kickoff late in the first half, we do need a big return to get us in good field position. We're going on the left side, and we do get a great pickup a 47-yard return. Malachi Nelson is looking for his man downfield, sets his feet, and throws an absolute laser to Thompson to get us within scoring range, and we do tie it up. We're down by 7, but this is looking much better than the national championship game that we just played. Ashton Jeanty's having a much better game. The offensive line is creating huge holes for him to run through, and the rushing attack has benefited greatly. Dudley's also getting in on the attack here, and Jeanty is looking for a touchdown here, makes a nice run for a tie game. Late in the second half, with the clock running down, we're able to tackle Ja'Cory Brown for a sack there. And Jay Allen is going to get tackled for a loss as well. 3rd and 10, and we have the ball tied, and we take a sack, a poor play by this team, and we have to punt. Just have to make some tackles here, keep Miami away from the end zone, but missed tackle. That was a terrible play by me. Missed tackle after missed tackle after missed tackle, again and again and again. Oh my goodness, inside of the 20. And with 13 seconds left, Miami takes a 20-17 lead. We were looking to tie things up, but with 2 seconds left, we take a sack, and Miami ultimately comes out victorious. A very disappointing loss for Boise State, and now they're looking to get back to the drawing board. Again, insult to injury is kind of a theme as well. We lose 4 players to other schools, but we do get a chance to move on to get into the win column against Oregon. Once again, another theme of the video is Ashton Jeanty. We are seeing his big playability on full display. And carry after carry, he finds his way. We're up 35-23, and ultimately we find a way to get him in the end zone once again for a big win. 150 yards and 3 touchdowns for Ashton Jeanty in this one, and recruiting is taking off a little bit. This is a game we should be handling, but we are currently tied in the 4th quarter. Ashton Jeanty with a huge run to get us going there. 3rd and 8, we are scrambling out to the right. Malachi Nelson is looking for the first down, coming up a little bit short, but on 4th and inches, Ashton Jeanty, who else will pick up the big yardage there? Another missed tackle. Ashton Jeanty is just ridiculous. A field goal puts us up with just over 2 minutes left, and we need our defense to come up big. Clement is looking to the right and finds his guy downfield, and our defense cannot tackle. A really poor play on 4th and 1, and ultimately a read option is going to give Memphis good field position. But on 3rd and 8, we need a stop, and a slant over the middle gives them a touchdown. Down 21-17, Nelson is looking for room, and he's going to get sacked. Later in that drive, 2nd and 22, looking for a guy downfield, has a guy open, but underthrows it. And that's an unfortunate interception that's ultimately going to give Memphis the win here. Unfortunately, no time to hang our heads as the number 6 Kansas State Wildcats come to town. We definitely have to play our best game, even though we are kind of struggling right out the gate. Still ranked 22nd against the number 6 team. And in the 4th quarter, we find ourselves up 4. Nelson is looking over the middle, finds Britt over the right side, and is able to pick up a first down there. 2nd and 7, we are using motion to our advantage quite a bit. That has been a nice play for us, and Ashton Jeanty benefits the most from that. Big run after big run to pick up first downs, and Jeanty with a nice juke here, going down the right side, makes another cut, and it's 1st and goal. Malachi Nelson is going to punch it in from there to extend our lead to 35-24. Kansas State pulls with an 8 with a field goal, and Ashton Jeanty makes a nice cut here down the right side. His speed is going to be too much. He's going to make a cut down to the inside, and Kansas State cannot tackle him. A huge run for our superstar running back, and that is the play that ultimately gives us the win. 193 yards and 3 touchdowns for the stud Ashton Jeanty. And that is enough to kick off some momentum. We see yet another big run by who else? Ashton Jeanty for a touchdown there, and a 42-9 win. Features a huge game from Jeanty again, 198-2. A surprisingly 6-3 New Mexico team is up next. We're ranked number 8 in the country despite our 2 losses. But once again, it's the Ashton Jeanty show, and it's been a huge game for him. 262 yards, 4 touchdowns in a big win. We're up 37-17. The rushing attack will not be denied, and ultimately we win the game by 30. Jeanty has a huge game, a monster game. 347 total yards and 5 touchdowns. Hawaii so far in this video has been a surprisingly good team. They have been really fun to watch, and they have given us some trouble. Although in this game, we're up 28-6. The rushing attack has no problems right now. Malachi Nelson is throwing nice passes over the middle, even when he's rolling out. And the offense is looking really good. A hitch route there is complete. And on 2nd and goal, Jeanty pounds it in for another touchdown. Ultimately, we win the game 42-6, not entirely close. And another really exciting moment as we sign a punter to our team. We also get a couple other recruits, but again, recruiting is going really well. We're 16th in the country. And again, recruits are committing to Boise State. The winning has been obviously helpful. And once again, we find ourselves in the Mountain West Championship against who else but Hawaii. This one's a little bit closer than the previous game this season. Malachi Nelson up 27-17 throws a nice ball to Powers down the left side. Jeanty is going to pound this one in to give us an even bigger lead. 34-17. Nelson is looking to add to that lead. A nice drop down there to pick up a first down by Lott. Running attack is finding plenty of space here. That has been huge for us. Jeanty's speed and the blocking has been really good. But unfortunately, as we're looking to the left side, I throw an interception. Brown picks it off, and we tackle them inside their own 20. Voss is looking to get this game close, and right now, Hawaii is moving the ball down the field, just running smash route after smash route and completing passes left and right. We have a linebacker for some reason on this wide receiver that leads to a touchdown, but ultimately the onside kick is going to be recovered by Boise State. We do run it a couple more times up 10. We have to waste those timeouts by Hawaii, and we're picking up first downs, big chunks of yards here on the right side, and ultimately we are going to come away with yet another Mountain West championship. We find a way to get the job done, and again, we are building plenty of momentum heading into the postseason. Ashton Jeanty's absolutely snubbed. Richard Reese wins the Heisman Trophy with 1,300 yards rushing, 26 touchdowns, but Jeanty rushes for 1,927. He also has just similar stats to Reese in receiving, but ultimately doesn't matter as we move on to Oklahoma. The number 9 Sooners are in our way, and they have some really good defenders that will give us some trouble. And right off the bat, we're already down 14-0 as we head into the second quarter. It's been really tough running for Ashton Jeanty, even though he's picking up good chunks of yards. It's been tough. He's been having to do a lot of work, and the ball is being moved down the field by our offense. It's just not been as explosive as we want, but ultimately we do find a way to get a touchdown here. 14-7, we're in scoring range, and ultimately I take too long to throw this ball. McCullough picks it off, just a poor decision there. And 14-7, once again, we are taking sack after sack. And then our defense is struggling to pick up stops here, making tackles has been really tough as well. And Jackson Arnold ultimately puts them up 28-7, which turns into a 28-14 win in the Sugar Bowl. Another disappointing loss in the postseason. Momentum is over. We are looking to build towards next year. We finished the year 11-3 though. So again, Boise State is in a good position where we're competing with the best. And it's a big reason why we're not losing a ton of players. And recruiting is looking really good. We're just trying to add a few nice gems to top off the rest of our class. And so far, we're adding points to some of those players that will make an impact right away. And it does work. We don't get as many players as we want, but we do get a few high-end recruits. Heading into year 4, Malachi Nelson is all the way up to a 98 overall. As you can see, the depth at the top of our team is really the important thing. We're starting this year on a revenge tour. Arizona, Oklahoma, and Miami all headline the beginning of our season. We are looking for revenge. We are not messing around. Our defense should be pretty good. As you can see, we have a number of first team All Mountain West players. And you look at our trajectory for the future, and it's looking really good at an A+. We're the number 13 team in the country against the Arizona Wildcats, who are number 7, still a very good team. And in the second quarter, it's a scoreless battle right now. Tyler Hicks is going to get things started for us, though, with a big pickup on the screen there. Malachi Nelson is rolling to his right, finds a guy over the middle, finds Lott at the 50-yard line. Passing attacks look really sharp right now, and Nelson and Lott are connecting quite a bit. Britt gets a nice catch here on the smash route, and ultimately, we're going to see Hicks running in for a 7-0 lead. Arizona does tie it up, but our offense responds with another touchdown. Jay Jones, a young, promising player for us, adds it there, and from there, it's our offense that takes over to give us the 35-18 win. A really exciting win. Our defense came up with some big plays, but ultimately it was our offense that was able to produce. Tyler Hicks had a big game, and Jay Jones, like I said, young, promising player. We find ourselves up 7 late in the game against Oklahoma, and a Hail Mary pass is going to connect, which is really a disappointing way to end regulation. And ultimately, Oklahoma does make the extra point to tie things up. But Boise State does not waver. A read option here by Malachi Nelson picks up big yards to get us inside the 5, and Hicks punches it in for a 7-point lead. Oklahoma runs a screen here, gets the running back out in space, and we missed tackle after missed tackle. Ultimately, they do find a way to get in the end zone, and now we are tied. Oklahoma gets the ball in the second overtime first, and a sack gets things started for us here. Arnold's looking to combat that, makes a nice throw to make it 3rd and 1. And on 3rd and 1, he finds this guy over the middle. Suddenly, they're inside the 10. Another rush puts them inside the 5, but a read option play goes awry, and suddenly it's 3rd and goal from just inside the 25. Arnold is looking to his right, trying to find a guy. He does find one over the middle, and it's 4th and goal. And ultimately, Oklahoma kicks a field goal to go up 3. We need a touchdown if we're going to win this game. We don't want to settle for a field goal here. Ultimately, we have to win in this overtime. That's what I am deciding. And so far, the rushing attack is making that happen. We're looking really good. And Malachi Neslin is going to punch it in for a win there. A nice touchdown run gives us a win. Now we have 2 wins over top 10 teams. Miami was not ranked at the beginning of the year, but they are up to 23rd, and we hit the road to face the Hurricanes. Miami is 2-0 against us in this video, and we're down 21-19 in the fourth quarter. But again, our offense is still resilient. Malachi Nelson's legs have been huge so far in this 4th season, and it gets us ultimately up here. Our defense is stepping up in a big way too as we read this screen to perfection. We're up 25-21, and we're just trying to make stops. Tackles for loss like this really help. On 3rd and 15, Ja'Cory Brown is looking to the left side, and ultimately they don't pick up enough. And from there, our offense is able to run it out. Again, the rushing attack looked really good. Malachi Nelson, though, is stepping up big. And with that momentum at 3-0, Mountain West play is not going well for our opponents. We are absolutely crushing teams. Even our last non-conference game against BYU wasn't exactly close. Air Force is getting crushed 42-9. Colorado State does give us a little bit of trouble, but we do score 35 points and pull out a win there. Utah State also makes things really close. It's the fourth quarter. Malachi Neslin with an absolute dime there over the middle. And with 1:19 left, he continues to make nice throws in clutch moments. And once again, his legs are showing up when we need it the most. 19 seconds left, and Dubar will take it in for the go-ahead touchdown. Up 27-20. 5 seconds left in the game, and we just need a stop. Oh, that's not good. That's a completion of a big gain. And ultimately, though, we do get the win because it's too much for Utah State to handle. And we come away with a little bit of a scare, but we do get the win. From there, it's absolute domination. 38-3 against San Diego State in the Mountain West Championship, 45-3, 52-3, and ultimately Boise State is going to repeat as Mountain West champions. We are back in the national title game, and a familiar foe from earlier, the Oregon Ducks. The number 1 Oregon Ducks are in our way, and funny enough, we are in Miami for this game. We're set to kick it off here. Again, we're hoping our defense can get off to a good start, and just as parting like the Red Sea, this kick return is not going our way. Oregon gets off to a good start. The offense for the Ducks looks really good. A corner route connects here for a 22-yard gain, and ultimately the passing attack is making our defense struggle early on, and Oregon does get in the end zone to go up first. Our offense does struggle early on our first possession. A tackle for loss there, a sack on Malachi Nelson, and ultimately on 3rd and 18, we don't find a way to connect. Down 10-0, we do need a score here. Oregon has a lot of momentum, and once again, the legs of Malachi Nelson are stepping up. We are inside the 30 here. Nelson's rolling out to right, finds a guy on the right side. A nice throw there, and a post over the middle gives us a 10-7 game. From here, it's the Boise State offense that really shines. Jay Jones, a guy we mentioned earlier, is having himself a ball game. Powers gets in the mix here with a nice play to get into the end zone, and we do add more and more big plays. Once again, Jay Jones with a nice catch over the middle. Malachi Nelson is looking really sharp right now. The legs of him are running inside of the 20 there, and it's 17-14, but Nelson's going to punch in here to give us our first lead. As we head into the second half, we are looking to get a nice return on this kick return. If we can get a good chunk of yards here and get us in good field position, a nice block there gets us down the left side. We're inside Oregon territory to the 40, to the 30, to join. No one is going to catch him. What a great start for Boise State to get things going in the second half. And once again, it's still a close game, but we are finding explosive play after explosive play. We have 2 now in the third quarter to give us the 38-24 lead, and ultimately that's going to be enough as we take a knee to win the game 38-31. A national championship for the Boise State Broncos. We do come away with the win, and we are on top. Boise State, a team that would have been really fun to watch had college football kind of stayed the same, and we ultimately get them back to those glory days and get them to the top of college football.